Oh no. Oh God almighty. Welcome to Dover International Speedway for a race in an alleged four-star car, the number 6 Advocare Roush Fenway Racing Ford. Though we'll see if it's a four-star car. We're probably going to get Trevor Bayne fired if we do really well in this car. But Dover is a very tough track, as you may have seen if you watched the last video where I was racing in the Xfinity Series. So now we get to complete the weekend in the Cup Series, driving for Roush. Let's see if we can get the number 6 back in victory lane. Wow, driving a Cup car at Dover is awesome. It just feels like everything's like ×2 speed, and even then, we qualified 29th. You may have seen my reaction to seeing which car I was in at the beginning of this video. So I'm hoping that sigh and the God Almighty I said will end up paying off. Did we outqualify our teammate? No. I mean, Roush is all the way at the back if you saw where Stenhouse is. So we didn't outqualify our teammate either, which is not doing me any favors. I don't even know what our goal is to finish here. I'm guessing it's somewhere in the top 10. So let's try to get in the top 10 and hopefully get a win as well.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series rolls into Dover, Delaware for the AAA 400 Drive for Autism. Dover International Speedway, also known as the Monster Mile, is a track with banking so high it's often described as a roller coaster ride by the drivers. Miles the Monster is once again ready to torment this star-studded field of NASCAR drivers. Who can tame this monster? Well, let's head down to the track and find out.
All right, here we go. Ready to race at Dover in the Cup Series. And we are going. So I got yelled at in the comments for passing below the changing lanes on the restarts. So I'm going to try not to do that in this video because the comment section seemed to be upset with me about that. But we're changing lanes in 1 and 2 in Dover and almost wrecked the number 6 car immediately. I don't hate driving this car that much, even though we are getting some understeer, so I might need to loosen the car up later on. We'll see. Woo, that was a big slide coming out of turn number 4. Maybe we won't need to loosen the car up. But it seems like I don't have enough gear. It seems like I'm getting real close to the red line in 4th gear down the straightaway, so that may not be a very good thing for driving in traffic, as it looks like Kyle Busch has got a huge advantage right now because McFlurry and Allmendinger, the guys who kind of started up front, really are holding this proceeding up. They must have had some qualifying motors or something, as we give Kane a little bit of a shot there. And Danica came to the inside of me there, so that's unfortunate. We're going to try to get back around Danica. We got to be careful, though. I hear she likes to flirt with Roush drivers. Oh, God, we went way too high on Kane there. And all the way to the bottom, underneath Blaney. I think we can get to the inside of Danica, even though I think Stenhouse got there first. I did not say that. You did not hear that if you're of a certain age. Anyway, we're back to racing. Danica got me loose there. Not the other way around. This is terrible. I'm gonna go to the inside of Danica. I'm gonna try to go to the inside. I'm going to go around Danica here, and yeah, finally, we got around Danica. Okay, we can move on from that. So let's go around Blaney here now, and now up behind retired Kenseth. Oop, I'm way too high, And Stenhouse is starting to pull away from us, so that's not good. You want to beat your teammate at least, and that's what we're going to try to do in this first stage here. But it looks like since people are moving to the bottom, we can kind of move up to this middle lane. Whoa, back rotate a little too much. The burrito almost spun me out there. So let's try to be a little more careful. As Bayne is, excuse me, Bayne. That was Trevor Bayne in 2015, but that's a while ago. I called him Trevor Bayne. This has just not been going well for me from a commentary perspective, but now we're behind Stenhouse, and I got loose behind him, and now we've got Danica up in my grill again, so that's not a good thing. Let's see if we can get underneath Stenhouse here. Ooh, don't wreck your teammate, don't wreck your teammate, don't wreck your teammate. Oh, Danica wrecked me. Well, that's annoying. I don't think she likes the idea of me being her boyfriend's teammate. That is for certain sure. As we're going to try to go around the outside of Kane here. It's not going to work. So we're still kind of trapped in 30th to 29th position. This is interesting. Now are we going to... Yeah, we're going to have to pit before the end of the stage, which is going to make this all even more wild. So we get a really good run behind Stenhouse, but nowhere to go with it. And I was not holding my line there. Sorry, spotter. But it looks like I can maybe get the drive off at turn 2, get around Stenhouse. Well, we'll go in the middle here. That's an interesting move. And plowing into Kane on the inside, and we're going to have to block Elliott Sadler there. Thankfully, we were able to do that. So a lot of rubbing and racing here early on as we get on the apron. Now we make contact with Stenhouse, so that's the first time we've had Roush on Roush violence. It only took 10 laps. Okay, so let's see if we can work this outside groove a little bit more. It's tough because it seems like the way you pass them is down on the inside, but they're all using the inside lane as the car works up the track again. So I'm just worried about pinching the car off and spinning it out if I run too low or do this arc thing, as we're going to just have to get in front of Stenhouse, which we do, thank God. And we already got pit stops. Suarez is coming into the pits. Really, really drove it in deep there, and the result is what you would expect. But Stenhouse got a really poor exit off of turn 4, and I almost capitalized on it. Couldn't quite get it done. Come on. Little bit of a bumper to Stenhouse there. Is that Allmendinger falling this far back through the field? He qualified 3rd, and he's back to 27th. So AJ clearly had a qualifying motor in, because I don't know how else he was able to get that done. As I made a mistake again in traffic, and there goes Allmendinger right back to the inside. So we're going to do a little bit more rubbing. Oh, that was a tight move there. And Allmendinger was not going to take that from me. He was not going to take that from me. So the Cup Series guys really stepping up their game, as we're going to give Stenhouse a shot. And now we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1, because that works at Dover. Now I'm behind Landon Castle to the inside. Little bit of contact with him. To the inside of Austin Dillon. Maybe. Ah, golly. Thankfully, when I almost spun out, I spooked the guys behind me. So that kept me from losing positions in that melee. And now we've got to just tap the brakes because of Austin Dillon and Danica just ahead of me. Now we'll get to the inside of Dillon. Don't know if we'll have the momentum to clear Danica, and certainly will not. But we can at least keep Dillon at bay for a little while as we get the car waggling off of turn 4 into the inside of Danica now. And around her we go. So now as the field really starts to spread out, now we're going to start seeing the race come to us, I think, a little bit, as Blaney's going to work to the inside of Burrito here. Nope, maybe. Nope, nope, nope. Don't let Danica in. Don't let Danica in. There we go. All right. So we might be able to crack the top 20 here, as we have a huge run on the outside, but nowhere to go with it. As we try to work around the outside of Blaney. Can we pull that off? Well, that's an interesting move. I guess the outside does work every once in a while. Because I had to grab the brakes there just to keep the car from hitting the wall, pushing up and hitting the wall. As Kyle Busch is in the pits, we're probably close. Yeah, we're close to having to pit ourselves under the green flag. As we're coming up behind Buescher here, trying not to lose the back end, which we didn't. And now we've got lots of pit stops occurring. So that means at least, for now, I'll have some clean air to work with. Have some good out laps before we go into the pits. Fuel, 2 laps. We'll see where it goes over to 1 here. I think we can make it 1 more lap, and that'll be beneficial. It's going to be close, but we'll be able to make it 1 more lap, I think. And this will be, it'll make sure that we, lead a lap. Get that bonus point, if they even do that anymore. But more importantly, not have to worry about other people slowing us down going into the pits. So here we go. All the way down the back straightaway, lifting off the gas. No more gas going to be used here. even though I might crash coming into the pits, which would be very unfortunate. Well, we got held up by pretty much everybody coming into the pits, so we're going to do 2 cans of fuel, 2 tires, but I'm a little bit worried that we are going to lose a ton of track position in a time when I thought we were going to gain a lot of track position, but we'll see. We've already lost a lap, which is not good because Kyle Busch just came around. No, we didn't lose a lap. We lost the lead. Interesting. I hadn't realized that I was 2 laps ahead of everybody else, though I guess that makes sense. So we'll let Logano around. We don't need to fight him just yet. So 2 tires was a good call, even though the right side seemed like they're going to get, or the left side seemed like they're going to be pretty worn by the next stage, but we'll just have to deal with it when we get there. The good thing, though, is the track position. That's what we needed. And now with 2 tires, we can definitely try to fight with them. We know we handle well. That is definitely a key to this race, handling at Dover, because it's such a high-speed track, even though it is only a mile. A mile is something I would consider a short track, but some people consider it a super speedway. I don't know. It's always a very confusing thing. It doesn't look like we're catching up to Logano very much. So we really slide off a turn 2 there. But we've still got 6 laps to go, so at the moment we just need to maintain this stage positioning. Be nice to have some stage points to take home to Roush, even if it doesn't really matter to me, as I'm not running for the Monster Energy Championship. And we'll definitely have to take 4 tires on our next pit stop, which will almost certainly come at stage 2, probably under the green flag. But the key, again, is to have track position. And that's what we're going for right now. So we're a bit slow because the car is sliding. It's not quite as free as I need it to be on the worn left sides as we're coming up behind Kurt Busch and couldn't quite get there. Don't need to fight him at the moment. I'm going to express some patience. We're going to try to be as patient as possible in this race, which is something that's not usually done in this series. I understand that, but this is a pretty long race, so it's one of those deals where, well, I can go nuts, or I can be conservative. And we're going to try to be conservative as best we can. So tire wear, really wearing poorly, but we've only got 3 laps to go on the stage. Of course, that means we're going to have to, you know, pit under the green flag at some point during the next stage and have to work our tires all the way until that point. So it's going to be kind of tough as we lose out on stage points there, but again, not a big deal. Can't really care very much. As we've got 2 laps remaining in the stage, and an 11th place would be most excellent, considering where we started and where we're looking like we're going to finish. And I think once we get fresh tires on this car, it's going to be a whole new battle. So we get so close to the wall there. You could have just seen the push there, but that was my fastest lap of the race, despite having a push. So imagine what we do on fresh tires when we get back to racing about 10 laps into the next stage. As we work it through turn number 4, and the stage will end with us in 11th position. Pretty cool. Good stuff was had in that stage. Allmendinger worked his way all the way back up to 13th. Nobody is pitting, but as I said, only 10 laps remaining on the fuel. I'm just going to make sure nobody's pitting so we don't get screwed here. So 4 cars off the lead lap. Timmy Hill will get the lucky dog, even though that probably doesn't really matter. Okay, so 11th on the inside. It's probably better that we are starting on the inside. Oh, I gotta follow the rule, otherwise the comment section is gonna get mad at me. So we gotta, as much as I would have liked to have gained a couple easy positions there, can't do it. Can't change lanes on a restart. So we won't do that. Up, side by side with Larson. Ah, God almighty. Conservative, David, conservative. Yep, nope, not gonna happen. Big wreck. Well, there goes that. There goes that. You know, if I'd been able to pass, I wouldn't have had that wreck. Or at least that's what I'm going to tell myself. So 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, and we'll get back to racing. Jeffrey Earnhardt's the only one not in the lead lap now. We've had some cars pit. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, Ryan Newman. You can pass on the outside though, right? Well, I shifted up too early, so forget that. Forget that I said that. So in behind Earnhardt, we're going to have to get around him very, very quickly because he's going to hold us up quite a bit. Can we get around him? Not yet. Just lift off the gas, and now here comes DJ Kennington down to the inside. Making contact. In behind Logano. Underneath Logano. Underneath Hamlin, just dragging the brake just a little bit. We need to get around those cars that pitted for tires and fuel, because those are going to be the ones we're racing. Because we're going to have to pit again before the end of the stage, as we're going to go 3 wide here with Earnhardt and Hill. Or are we? 21 laps to go in the stage. Yeah, 17 laps. So we're going to have to pit one more time in this stage. Going to work underneath Corey LaJoie, go make it 3 wide underneath him and Cole Witt. Wow, that was close. That was really close. Danica gave me a little bit of a shot in the bumper there. Woo-wee! So let's try not to just completely wreck people when we go into the corners now, shall we? We really got loose there in turn 2. Down the back straightaway, diving to the inside of LaJoie. Just caught the brake just a little bit. And now working with a ton of speed off of turn 4. Nowhere to go with it as we set our fastest lap of the race there. So you can see the power of 4 tires. I might go with 4 when we come into the pits, as we got lots of pit stops occurring. We're going to dive to the outside just to make sure nothing happens to us. As Stenhouse is forced up upstairs. We're going to work underneath Kyle Busch and Stenhouse. And maybe Chase Elliott. Can we get there? Not quite. Now we can, but I'm worried he's coming into the pits. We're going to have to be real careful. Nope, everybody was pretty safe about their pit entry there as Kyle Busch comes back to the inside. He was, of course, the pole sitter, so he's going to be fast, but he gets held up there by Ryan Newman. And we'll be back to the inside, but it's going to be Elliott working to the inside of us. We're going to give Kurt Busch a shot here because we got to try to get around him. Michael McDowell causing all sorts of trouble. We're just going to push Kurt Busch all the way through 3 and 4. Get underneath him, but now we're going to have to fight with McDowell. No, we won't, because he's going to come into the pits, but he's going to be down at the bottom, so that's going to make things very tight. As you saw, the Busch brothers saved each other, but God almighty, McDowell, you knew that was coming. I probably should have just backed out, but them's the brakes. So now we're running second, so that's good for track position. Ryan Newman leading the race. 15 to go in the stage. Fuel is 11 laps, so we're going to be pitting with 4 laps to go in this stage. See if we can take the lead as we lap Ralph there down to the inside. I'm just going to try to take a really good line through there. Try to be smooth on the exit. Seems like mid-corner sometimes I make jerky movements and that screws me up. So I really drove it in deep there. I was a little bit worried about crashing into Newman. We thankfully didn't, though. So there you go. There's the leaderboard at the moment, where everybody runs. A little too high there, a little too high. Almost let Hamlin in. Almost. Oh, and I caught the apron just a little bit there, and it almost pitched the car around. Thankfully, it did not. So now battle for the lead with Ryan Newman, and we are driving it off the corner. And we're going to get alongside of him, but not quite able to clear him. I kind of had to lift off to get the line back so we could not lose out to Hamlin. Oh, this is going to be a late move. Yeah, there you go. Shove it in there. Take the lead from Ryan Newman. And now we've got to get on it here. While they're side by side, we have to run a really good 3 and 4. It's not that great. I'm running too high. We'll slice down in front of Hamlin, take his air away. So 11 laps to go on the stage. That means we probably have about 8 to lead this thing under the green. But the more we pull away, the more the more chance we have to take 4 tires. I'm definitely going for 4 when we come into the pits on this yellow flag, or not on the yellow flag, but on the green flag just at the end of the stage. Because I think that's going to give us the best opportunity. Well, never mind. There's the yellow flag. I called it. I called it. So. No repairs. Don't need it. I'm going to go with 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires. Probably going to put me at the back. That's going to give Ralph a free pass, but it's not going to put him back on the lead lap. We're going to keep that position. So, it's now 6 cars on the lead lap. Coming to the end of the second stage here. And now we don't have to worry about those lanes because we were the pole sitter and we got a huge restart. So 7 to go in the stage. And now it's just, we need to pull away while they're in traffic. Hamlin has already broken through. So he's by himself. Single file, little bit of understeer. Which turns into oversteer, which is the worst combination of those things that it can be. 6 laps to go on the stage. Just going to try to keep the car underneath myself here. But we are leading this thing. Legitimately as well, because we did take the lead under green flag conditions. This isn't stage strategy. This isn't luck of the draw. We're here, and we're legitimate for it. So we are pulling away from Hamlin. They're all going low. They're not pitting, are they? That'd be a very interesting strategy. I don't know why they all ran low on the back straightaway. I looked at in the mirror, and it looked like they were all running extremely low. Maybe they're just trying to run faster as we got 4 laps to go. It's my best lap ever in the Cup Series at Dover. Also, presumably, my fastest lap of the race, I would assume. So we are really running good right now. The car is just working very well. As we get very loose off of turn 4, I ran a little too high of a line there. Kind of pinched the car off. And you can see a little bit of the effects of that as Hamlin kind of closed in there in 3 and 4. We work down the back straightaway. We're going to try to run a better line this time. Nope, still too high. Still way too high. And we almost paid for it again on the exit there. The car got a little bit light. And we win the stage anyway. Alright. I love debris cautions. What's wrong with debris cautions? I don't know. Alright, so stage 2 is completed. And now. There are some cars pitting. It's gonna give retired Matt the you know what, we're gonna pit. We're gonna get some tires, we're gonna get some repairs while we're not gonna lose too many positions. Just take a couple extra laps of fuel and some fresh tires. As we're gonna have 7 cars on the lead lap now. And we are going to the final stage with a pretty good shot here. So back to racing. That was probably a lane change there. That was illegal. We're going to get a drive-through for that. So we're going to work through the center on fresh tires. We got to get a run here past Newman, and he decided to wreck me. He was not there. So we're 3 wide. Ah, no. Ah, God almighty. Yeah, that was Newman's fault. It's going to put Ralph back on the lead lap, which is going to add to my chaos. And that's also going to give Kenseth a lead lap pit spot. He pitted, obviously, but somehow I managed to get away with that without losing too many positions, which is weird. Alright, so here we go, back to the green. We're going to do that again. So we're not going to change lanes before the start-finish line, because clearly that was what Numa was mad at me for. We're going to go 3 wide here. Again, it's kind of a mirror of the last restart. Oh, between Kenseth and Logano. This will go well. And the same thing is happening where a car is just completely not clear, just sticking his nose in there. That's very obnoxious. All right, so we've actually gotten back to racing here. 35 to go. We've got fresh tires. Kenseth has fresh tires. Screw you, Boyer. You're not on the lead lap. Get out of the way. So we work down here into turns 3 and 4. So now it's time to get going here. In behind Kyle Busch. 34 laps to go. 16 on the fuel. So we may have to stop twice before the end of the race. Right? Yeah, 32. Oh, yeah, 32 laps is the. Well, no, because we don't have a full fuel tank. So it's gonna be close. I can tell you that. I think a full fuel tank is 17 laps. So 16 plus 17 is 33, I believe. That's not quite. Or no, it's 30. Yeah, 33, I think. It's going to be close, regardless. I'm trying to do mental math, and a lot of times I try to do mental math when I'm driving, and it doesn't happen. It does not compute. It doesn't work. So let's see what we can get done here behind Kyle Busch, as Kenseth has moved past him, so we've got to be racing Kenseth, because Kenseth is the threat right now. So we go underneath Busch to the inside and working around Busch pretty easily. So now we got 4 cars to pass. We know we can pass Newman, even though he tried to wreck me. Best lap ever. There you go. What happens when you run in the draft and then you actually run some decent lines and you don't get held up and all that good stuff. So in behind Kenseth. Can we make it stick? No. Kenseth is going to have a pretty good run off there into turn 3. We're going to back it off and try to get the run off the corner. Hopefully one of them holds each other up. Didn't really happen. Maybe if I'd been closer I would have been able to get to the inside of Kenseth, but not yet. And that wasn't a good line through there. That's actually allowing Kyle Busch back close, relatively anyway. So getting a really good run, 175 off into turn number 3. That is pretty freaking fast at Dover, I can tell you that. And there are pit stops occurring for some of the lappers, so that's going to make life difficult when they come into back out into traffic. You would assume that they are going to be the slow and lap cars that's got friggin' aero tight and lost out to Kyle Busch. Kurt is also up there, so I have a right to screw that the K Bushes up a little bit. The thing is very loose off of turn 2, but loose is fast. Can we sneak to the inside of Kyle? Yes, we can. Maybe. Oops, side by side. Not happening yet. More cars in the pits. We're down to the inside. 27 to go. 10 laps on the fuel. So we're going to be close. It's going to be really close. If 17 laps is the fuel number that we can get, as it looks like Hamlin's coming into the pits. And everybody is coming in except for Kenseth. So boy, do I wish I had been able to pass Kenseth when I had the chance. Because now we know who we're fighting. Now we know who we're fighting. It is very clear. It's a 2-horse race between Matt Kenseth and me. As Kenseth is going to try to deny Roush a victory after, of course, he drove for Roush for a while. This car gets very loose off of turn 4. It seems like Kenseth maybe has a better car. We'll see. You have to reel him in. We're going to need some traffic, I think, to really get there. Go down the back straightaway here. Off into turn 4, just lifting a little bit. Off of turn 4, right up next to the wall. Not really right up next to the wall. I was going to say right up next to the wall, but not really. We put some laps on the guys who came into the pits. So now it's a very much an endurance race here. So we've got a few cars 1 lap down, most of the field 2 behind the race. and 2 cars on the lead lap duking it out for supremacy, as we've got 23 laps to go here. And we are definitely better on old tires than Kenseth is, because suddenly the speed is there, and we might be able to get Kenseth. No, we're going to hold off on that just for now. We are very, very close. Kenseth made a mistake there. He left the bottom open. Can we get there, though? It's going to be very close. Side by side down the main straightaway. At 22 laps to go, we will take the lead away from Matt Kenseth. And now things get interesting. How is this all going to shake out? Harvick and Jones are 1 lap down. I would assume they're on our strategy. They haven't pitted yet. I think what they're banking on is a yellow to come out so they can get a lucky dog, get back on the lead lap, and get a free pit. But only one of them gets a lucky dog if it indeed happens. So we'll have to see how this all works out. 4 laps on fuel, so it's coming down to the end of the race here. The strategy's all going to come together, all going to converge. Who is going to have the right one? Who is going to have the tires and car for the finish of this race, as we are coming up behind lap traffic as well. Don't think we'll catch them before the end of this fuel run, but certainly by the next one, which hopefully will be when we're crossing the checkered flag, we're definitely going to be in some heavy lap traffic. As Jones has blinked. Jones is in the pits. I don't know if Harvick is. I didn't see him. Yeah, Harvick is still the leader of the 1 lap down contingency. As we catch the wall there just a little bit. I think Kenseth is coming into the pit, so we'll come in next time. Yes, as it just hit 1 lap remaining on the fuel as we went through 3 and 4. So this is pretty much perfect. As Jones comes out of the pits, we've got 18 laps to go. We are going to be cutting it insanely close. We're going to come in for 4 tires for sure this time, especially considering we had a lead, and I think that's going to be what we need to do. So easy on the brakes, coming into the pits, bring it down nice and easy, and the pit stop's occurring. So full service pit stop. There is Harvick. We found him. As we're just going to wait on the tires and the fuel. They've already made 1 lap up on us. They're coming around to make the 2nd lap up on us. So this is kind of tense for me, because we're going to see what kind of a lead we have, especially on Kenseth. So we have 19 laps remaining on fuel, so we can make it to the end. That would also be the assumption that Kenseth can as well. But where's Kenseth? He's not even the leader of the pack. It's Denny Hamlin. Kenseth fell behind Hamlin in that sequence. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But I suspect Hamlin will have to pit before the end of the race. There are a few cars that won't, namely Harvick and Jones, who pitted near enough where we pitted, as well as Matt Kenseth. So Kenseth is really still the one we're racing. So we still need to stay ahead of him, but it seems like Hamlin's starting to come back to me a little bit here. So we're going to have to put some good laps together here to make that distance a bit longer. So we slide just a little bit, but we are catching lap traffic as well, so that's going to make things slightly more difficult, to say the least. Wow, that was loose, loose, loose. Very, very loose. 14 to go in the race. There are going to be cars. This is going to be the most wild, like, laps down grid I think you're going to see in a very long time, because not only am I about to come up and lap these guys, I think a lot of cars are not going to be able to make it to the end on fuel, therefore they're going to lose 2 laps each, but some of them won't be able to. So there's going to be so many cars on so many different laps, it's going to be amazing. Kind of hoping this goes green to the end, just to see how it all shakes out. I think it's Elliott Sadler we're coming up behind a lap here. No, it's not. It's Martin Truex? What the heck is he doing back there? Well, that's interesting. As we are 2 seconds ahead of Hamlin. Coming up behind G.J. Kennington, Timmy Hill, and Truex. Of course, this is one of Truex's 50 home tracks, He's kind of like Jeff Gordon in that respect, as we've got cars pitting already. Looks like Ralph and Paul Menard are coming in. Looks like Truex as well. As they try to wreck going into turn 1, Truex made a pretty bold move down to the inside of Kennington and Hill, as we have a huge run on both of these drivers, as Kennington's going to come into the pits. So, rip DJ Kennington, as we've got most of the field coming into the pits, in fact. As we lap Timmy Hill, and there's the yellow. Shocker. Harvick is going to get real lucky, go back on the lead lap, but we're not going to be able to see this wildness that I thought was going to happen. But we are easily going to be able to stay out. We're better on old tires anyway. We're starting on the inside. Kenseth to the outside. Everybody else on fresh tires, including, I think, Kevin Harvick. But he will be starting at the back of the queue as we are back to racing at Dover, with 7 remaining in the race. So we know what we have to do. This is a similar situation to the one we found ourselves in at the end of stage number 2, I believe. So we just got to hold off Hamlin, because I think he's probably the faster of the two between him and Kenseth. As you can see, he's working to the inside. He's going to try to get there. We blocked him effectively. Now we need to run these corners very, very well. As I was not even looking anywhere close to the mirror in turn 1 and 2. I was looking just at my line. I'm not looking at anything else except for the line right now. I am very, very focused right now, because I know those Gibbs cars are very, very strong. But we're going to try to beat him in a Ford, because Brad Keselowski is absolutely right when I'm driving a Ford. But if I'm driving a Toyota, he's completely wrong. Toyota doesn't cheat. I mean, Toyota is cheating. I'm driving a Ford. They're cheating. They're cheaters, but I'm about to beat them anyway. But they're cheating. 4 laps to go. We're just staying ahead of Kyle Busch. Car working very well right now. This will be a good win if we can get it. I can tell you that. Just a couple mistakes in this race. I shouldn't have been blocking so aggressively on some of those mid-race restarts, but you live and you learn. Ooh, that was a lot of sliding going on through 3 and 4. So we work around, or 1 and 2. This is 3 and 4. I was thinking ahead there. 2 laps. Kyle Busch still within striking distance here. Should I make a major mistake? I kind of made one slightly there. I ran a little too high. But the good thing is their tires are wearing just as fast as mine. So that's what I've kind of got to hold on to here as we take the white flag, presented by Credit One Bank. So we run really high off of turn 2. Diving into 3 and 4 for the final time. Just got to hold off Kyle Busch. One more corner. Busch is there. He's close, but he's not going to get it done. We'll take Roush number 6's first victory in God knows how long. So sorry about having to go TV style for those last 15 laps of the race. Unfortunately, there was a glitch in my capture card that thankfully I caught didn't record the last 15 laps of the race, so we had to go TV style there, but at least I got you the coverage, because it was a pretty good race. As you can see how many cars are laps behind the race, and just a really interesting, crazy, wild race here at Dover, which we, of course, took the win in. So we'll take a look at the points as we move up into 28th with 3 wins and 17 playoff points, so clearly we're leading the chase at the moment, but not really. So let's head back to the race shop and see if there's anything else to take a look at. But first, we gotta take our Miles the Monster, and that is an interesting diecast in his hand. I'm not really sure what car that's supposed to be, but very interesting nonetheless. It looked like a 99 car, so what, they take a car out of the Roush archive? I don't know, but we still took victory. So, we got that top 15 finish today. We got 200 grand for winning it, though, so that's pretty good. So, on from Dover and the Monster Energy Series, back to Xfinity for a one-off race at the Pocono Raceway. Oh, Pocono. That was a bugaboo for me in the Truck Series. It never seemed to go well, and we'll see what it's like in the Xfinity Series. Thank you guys so much for watching this race at Dover, and we'll see you next time for Pocono.